They originated in the South, and you don't find them in most yards. But when you do, they're hard to miss. Do you know what this is?
No, I haven't a clue, but I have seen it before.
I think it's a type of fruit.
I do not know what this is.
The name of this tree is the Osage orange. A lot of people recognize it for the fruit that it bears.
The Osage orange tree, or in scientific terms, Maclura pomifera.
I don't know, a guava?
They call these horse apples, hedge apples, monkey balls. My kids like to call them monkey brains.
Depending on where you live, they're called something different. In the Midwest, they're commonly called hedge balls. And these big green monkey ball brains, you see, they've all fallen from the tree, but what can they be used for? This may keep away spiders in your basement.
I used to put them in my basement.
Did you try that?
Yeah, if it worked.
Some people think just put a bunch of them around your house or around your basement or garage, and that'll ward off those kind of pests. But there's been no solid evidence, research that has been able to back that up.
Decades ago, the branches on the Osage orange tree were used as fence posts to keep animals from coming in and out of yards.
They used the wood for the fence posts because the wood is extremely rot resistant.
And was this fruit a meal for woolly mammoths?
I believe the range of this tree was far more extended, and so it could have been some kind of food or forage for more primitive species.
Very small, rough bowling ball.
In Macomb, reporting for News 3, I'm Devin Brooks.
She's not getting the job done, is the bottom line.
I believe that I've done a good job, particularly for our constituents.
Representative Republican Noreen Hammond hoping for a second term, but up against another face-off like in 2016 with Democrat challenger John Curtis. Why should the voters of the 93rd District re-elect you?
Sure. I think first and foremost my record of voting and voting for issues that people in this district care deeply about.
What you need to do is look at who the best person is, or maybe who the person is that's going to work the hardest and who has some new ideas. And I think it's been clear in this campaign who's the harder worker.
One of the top issues in this race is funding Western Illinois University and increasing enrollment at Western. Do you feel the state provides enough support for WIU?
We need to start this trend back to the value of higher education, community colleges for Illinois, and the focus has to be on how we get the dollars to the students.
How will you keep WIU on its feet?
Well, we need to make sure that Illinois state schools aren't priced out of the market.
Hammond does not support the progressive state income tax, while Curtis says it needs to be fixed.
I have seen states that have the progressive income tax in place, and it hasn't been as successful as they had hoped it would be.
Illinois is essentially a tax haven for the very rich and a tax burden on the poorest and middle class.
Hammond and Curtis say infrastructure is a priority, but they have to have the money.
Motor fuel tax funds cannot be spent in any other area.
One of the things I'd be doing is reaching out to our U.S. senators and saying, hey, can we get some federal funding for this? How about some grants?
Anything that you feel really sticks out between what he's wanting to fight for?
If I'm being honest, I really haven't heard anything that's got any meat to it.
I spoke to Noreen Hammond yesterday, and she said, you say you're going to bring more jobs, but she doesn't still know how you're going to do it. So I give you this time, how will you bring more jobs to the 93rd District?
So one of the things that's happening right now is that a lot of the local factories are expanding. And when I talk to, say, the CEO of the Vaughn Hammer Factory, or anyway, the leadership in Bushnell of the Vaughn Hammer Factory, they're looking to expand their workforce by 60 people or more.
8 in 10 Americans are now shopping online. That's according to a 2016 Pew Research study. But sometimes online transactions end in a face-to-face interaction and could potentially turn into a dangerous situation. Just last month, an incident happened in South Carolina where police say 20-year-old Tranum Martis Woodwin Jr. went to a man's house to buy a rifle sold online, but pulled a gun on the man and stole his rifle and cell phone. Woodward has since been arrested for armed robbery. Crimes like this one have local police offering a safe spot for people to meet up.
Essentially, it's a place where people can go to do internet purchases and meet up with people to exchange items or exchange children if there's a custody agreement.
The 2 parking spaces are right next to the police department and are watched under surveillance cameras. Lieutenant Hammer says using this location can save a lot of situations from going wrong.
I think this puts them on equal footing and kind of that neutral ground where nobody really has the advantage.
And Lieutenant Hammer says the department has gotten a positive feedback from the community, and other departments should look into it.
I think that's really awesome, and I think that's a safe way to actually enact those transactions.
You think about how dangerous it can be, especially when you're meeting up with a complete stranger for sometimes maybe tens or hundreds of dollars.
The Better Business Bureau warns people to never meet a stranger alone. Take someone as a witness. Make the exchange in public. Let someone know the time you're meeting up, and always use the online payment system. Don't pay in person. And the spaces are available to use at any time. Lieutenant Hammer says if someone is not willing to meet you at a location like the police department, that should be a red flag of concern. It's all on one cart. The latest technology used at McDonough District Hospital aims to keep patients from traveling far away for appointments.
We can use this stethoscope that we can listen on this end, but the pulmonologist in Springfield can also hear what we're hearing.
The telehealth cart is used to see specialized doctors who may be located miles away from home, but through the telehealth video chat system, it keeps you from driving the distance.
Really, the telehealth cart can do everything that you could really do in person other than just actual hands-on.
The appointments take place at the hospital with a nurse while communicating over the live feed with a doctor from SIU Medical in Springfield.
So they can do a physical exam and they're 90 miles away.
The cart comes with tools used to listen to heart tones and lung sounds, as well as an otoscope to see in the patient's ears or throat, and also a handheld camera to examine all parts of the body.
If we need to see the back of the patient, if they have an ulcer on their heels or their back.
Officials say several patients use the telehealth cart and they expect to see it grow.
They're very thankful and appreciative that they're able to see that specialist here instead of having to be transferred.
Community members say this new addition to the healthcare system is a great advantage to residents in rural areas.
I think it's an awesome idea, especially because a lot of times people are unable to get appointments in when they need to. So if they are like on urgent business trying to see a doctor right away, that would allow them to see the doctor as soon as possible.
Officials say the doctor usually offers using the new service to a patient during the visit, but they can always request it.
We have to kind of explain it to the patient and kind of get them accustomed to it, let them know what we're doing and how they're going to be seeing this physician.
Right now, MDH officials say it usually takes only 24 hours to set up telehealth appointments. They also say they've had several inpatient telehealth visits. As more staff is hired, they will bring the system to the patient's home. And they tell me most insurance companies cover the cost for using the telehealth system. More Western Illinois University faculty and staff are expected to be laid off Friday. We're told it could be hundreds of employees. This comes after the administration continues to look for ways to save money following a 2-year budget impasse and a steady enrollment decline. WIU President Jack Thomas released a statement in November saying the university must reduce spending by $5 million this fiscal year and by $21 million next year. Thomas sat down with me to talk about the cuts he says must happen.
There are difficult decisions that have to be made, and it's not easy. But at the same time, we want people to know that we're here for them.
Talk to the people that have been laid off, or they already know that it's coming for them. Think about the situation that they're in right now. What would you say to them?
We are, as an institution, we've done well. We are who we are because of the people who are here at our institution. We take pride in what we do, and we value the people here, the personnel here at this institution. And we're like a family here. And what happens to one person, it hurts all of us.
I certainly regret that the institution feels like it has to go this route.
UPI President Bill Thompson says he wants the administration to think about how to rebuild the university and its finances without making cuts.
I can't say that I'm excited about these layoffs or that I find these layoffs to be the only acceptable way to deal with the financial problems that we're facing.
We reached out to WIU's spokesperson for information about WIU making payroll for employees next year, but have not heard back.
We want people to know that we're here for them, as well as trying to help people seek other employment, to let them know that we are an institution that cares about the personnel here.
Thompson says UPI understands that layoffs can always happen while under contract, but there needs to be a better solution.
What we don't understand is why is the financial condition of the institution continuously worsening, right, 2 years after the impasse.
When people are looking from the outside at this university, at WIU, they see dorms closing, they see things going downhill. So is there any bright side?
There is a bright side, and I don't look at those things as going downhill. We have to make the necessary adjustments in order to make ends meet.